Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of CJ's Corner. Today we are going to go over the pyramid that was designed for Imagineers to have certain specific ideas in mind when they went to build Disney theme parks. Now, what's unique about it is that we're going to go over it in a way where you can use it to build your own creative ideas. But in case you don't know me, I am CJ Powers, and in this podcast, we basically craft stories that will captivate, engage, and influence your audience. And today, we're going to do something very special. We're going to help you to design your place, whether it's your office or your home, to feel like a welcoming attraction, just like in Disney World. Let's get started. Alrighty, we are going to get into the Imagineering Pyramid. Here's a quick little look at the book that it comes from, Louis Prosperi. I hope that's his pronunciation. Anyway, he basically went to Disney World numerous times, or Disneyland, I should say, and he studied exactly what they did to create a story that was worth paying attention to. And then he found ways, since he's a professional trainer, he found ways to teach people how to do the process so they can use it for their own creativity. And that's what we're covering today, so that you can be creative. I, frankly, love the concept for, if you don't really know how to put your house together in a way that speaks of who you are, this will give you all the tips and tricks to do it. Same with your office space. A lot of times people just have a desk and a computer and, just the basics. But there is a way to grab people's attention, to help them understand your personality and who you are without getting the place junked up. In fact, it could have quite a professional look to it. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be going into. Let's pull up that pyramid real quick. Here's the entire pyramid. Today we're just going to go over the bottom level. You can see that there's 5 tiers here. And you start at the bottom to build your foundation, and then you move upward. So in the bottom left corner, it all begins with the story. That's where we're starting. And then we'll end up, after a couple more episodes, in plussing, which is at the very top. And frankly, the plussing factor is the icing on the cake that makes Disney more than anything else. Although I will say that their entire process is pretty incredible. So it all begins with the story. That's where we're starting. It all begins with the story. Keep in mind, with the story, you don't have to tell a full story with a beginning, a middle, and an end for a location. But you want to get a sense of what that core idea is. So when we talk about story in this sense, we're talking about the core idea of what makes things work for you. Now, my one daughter really liked the feel of different places that she had been to. She liked the, coastal feeling, where you can see the old New England type lighthouse off on the rocky cliff type thing, with the ocean out in front of you and the breeze and the fresh feeling and so on. And she decided that she wanted that kind of a freshness in one of her bathrooms. So she created this idea in her mind that she wanted people to feel refreshed when they were in the bathroom, which is a good thing. So what she did, without even knowing about this pyramid, she knew it all begins with the story, and she had a story that she wanted people to understand. And that's how she got it started. Now, before I get into the details of the process she used, let's talk more about this pyramid. Once you have that core idea, that core feeling, that core experience that you want the people to have, well, I shouldn't say experience it because that's the next step. But once you have that core idea, as far as, okay, what is this whole thing about? In this case, the freshness of the seaside, oceanside experience. You move into your actual creative intent. And that intent, the creative intent, is what do you want your audience to experience? What is it that you want them to feel? How do you want them to come away from a specific room? Or when they leave your place, what do you want on their mind? Or what do you want stirring inside of them? Do you want them to feel a sense of joy or peace? Do you want them to feel, an understanding of who you are based on your creativity? Or do you want them to feel creative themselves as they leave? There's lots of different ways of looking at it. So the second point is that we want to look at their creative intent. Now, from a creative intent standpoint, that can mean a lot of different things. With a lot of attractions at Disney World, I noticed that most of their attractions start with a verb. So it's all about action. It's about experience. It's about what's happening. That's the best way to look at it. When someone enters into a room, for instance, my daughter had a kitchen that when I stepped into it, it felt like old world European, maybe Spanish mixed with Italian, just kind of a almost like a cafe marketplace type feel. Picturing that the golden sunset, sipping your coffee, it just had that expression. Now, here's the thing. When you decide on what that experience is, you can bring all your focus to the details, which, by the way, happens to be the next one. Attention to details. Now, there's not much that has to be said about that because with the details, we're talking about the specifics. So with my daughter, she knew that she did not want to, when she was working on her coastal ocean experience type lighthouse bathroom, she didn't want to just have 50 lighthouses in the bathroom. No, she just wanted the feeling to be there. So maybe one or two little lighthouses, maybe a little thing, on a little shelf, or one big image of a lighthouse on the shower curtain, whatever it might be. But there's other things that represent that area. Seagulls, a little container of sand with some seashells in it. Lots of different things. I don't remember all what she had there. I'm just, going off the top of my head on possibilities. So when we start talking about the specifics, that's what you have to decide on. So if you want them to experience that oceanside thing, does that mean you want to have one of those sound machines that are giving the ocean sounds, the waves crashing on the sandbar? Or maybe instead of carpet in the room, you want to have a thatched flooring or a sand flooring where they actually walk on sand in the bathroom. Obviously not, but you can see where the creativity can take you into specifics. The goal is for you to decide what kind of specifics do you want to enhance that experience, which is based on your core idea. So you get the core idea, the experience the audience wants or you want them to have, and then the next one down is exactly how are you going to do that from a specific standpoint. Then, believe it or not, after we've already done that, it sounds like you're already at the point of having a theme, but you're really not, because now we have to take those ideas and we have to transform it into a theme. So when we talk about the oceanside type bathroom, for instance, what we're talking about is this feeling of freshness, of freedom, of experience, the calm before the storm, so to speak. No storm. It's almost as if you have to say, okay, what about those things can I do to direct it all in a very specific direction, a line of thought, that is thematic. For instance, when I was talking about the sand on the bathroom floor, which I don't recommend. But let's say you're thinking along those lines. Is the theme a castaway type theme where you feel like you're on a reclusive island? Or is it a nautical theme because of the lighthouse and the boats trying to, move wherever they need to move due to the beam that the lighthouse is saying, hey, land is ahead, slow down, don't hit the rocks. Or do you want it to be something very different from that? Do you want it to be more of one of those Caribbean type, not Caribbean, but vacation destination type place? Because certainly there could be a lighthouse there with the same ocean breeze and everything else. So you have to decide what that theme is. I know one person that wanted a volcanic type feeling. So the walls were painted orange and red and things of that nature. Again, I don't recommend that. But you can see it's your choice to decide, you got this core idea, you got the experience you want the people to have, some of the specifics that are going to be a part of it. How does that all tie together? How can we put it into some kind of a thematic approach? And that's the key, is making it a thematic approach. Now, the next step is the last one on the bottom row here. Long, medium, and close shots. Okay, long, medium, and close shots. Clearly, we're talking cinematography at this point. So what are those to mean? Because, those are actually done in a way at the Disney parks where you're seeing and experiencing them, but you don't notice that they are there. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. So long shot, basically, it's a pulled back shot. A person just steps into the room and they see this overall thing that clearly expresses the idea, that core idea that you have. They just instantly kind of take in that core idea without even knowing it. It's a subconscious thing almost. So when you're taking a look at the full view of the room, how is everything put together in a way where it all looks like it belongs and it transports the person? Now, keep in mind, when I'm talking about transporting the person, the step prior here where we were talking about the theming is all about the time and place and the space. So you need to make the person feel as if they are actually in whatever that theme is that you create. So when they step into that room and they see the long shot of that, they kind of get the quick overview as they step in. You want them to, at least subconsciously, automatically go to that core idea and the theming that you've developed for it. Now, the medium shot, it's coming in a little closer. And for the medium shot, that's where you want to have the ideas that really support the theme, that make it more credible. In other words, it wasn't accidental, it was purposeful. They start seeing a few of the nuances and how it ties together, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is actually legit. And then to the close-up. Now, the close-up has to reinforce everything that you've built to that point. In other words, if someone walks over and picks up a little thing off the counter that you have there and they look at it, that close-up look of them should just take them, catapult them right back into that theme, and they should just get that sense that, wow, this whole thing has made me feel special. Because that's the goal, isn't it? You want the person that comes into your place to feel something special. You want them to feel a great kind of a release where they're letting go of the heaviness or burdens that they carry during the day, and they just focus in on what it is that you've developed on their behalf that expresses your core idea. So let's just take a run through of these all again real quick. It all begins with the story. That's your core idea. The creative intent, that's about the experience you want the audience to have. Think verbs, think action. Attention to detail is where you get into the specifics. The theming is really picking the right details that tie together, that create a sense of time and place or space. And then the long shot, medium shot, and close-up shots are all about revealing the idea, supporting that idea, and then reinforcing it with all the little details. The goal basically is to take your audience from a general view or vantage point into specifics. Take them from the big picture into the intimate. And that's what it's all about. You know, the reason Disney World is so valuable to so many people is because it gives them an intimate experience with their childhood over and over again. When you have someone come to your place, whether it's your office or your home, you want them to not just carry the generalities of their day and their life into the space, but you want them to enter into the intimacy of your friendship or co-worker atmosphere, whatever that might be. And you get to design it. You get to choose how to do it. And that's what this is all about. Now keep in mind again, I think it's Louis Prosperi. I don't know. Wish I actually knew the pronunciation of his name. He's the one that developed it by attending Disney World a gazillion times. We can read it a little bit better on this chart here. So we did the bottom level this week. Next week we're going to do the next level up. It'll be fun. The weenies, the transition storyboards, and pre-show and post-show. Those four things Disney is so known for, even if you don't understand them yet. But you will soon. And you'll see how that it can tie together with your goals and making things work for your future and your space. Well, that's all I have for today. Until next week with part 2, be creative. Have a great time.